The press is here, we can start now, right? Would you all please join us for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Yeah, look, we've got a partially full room tonight. It's nice to have some guests in here.
You're trying to get out of the cold.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, with that, before our regular board meeting called to order, we do have a Board of Assessors meeting. I should go pretty quick. I'll call the Board of Assessors for the town of Damariscotta to order for November 5th. And we have one action item on there, folks. There's an abatement there. We have a chance to take a peek.
Yep.
Yeah, any questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
Nope, don't see anything. All right, I'll make a motion to move the abatement for account 1567 in the amount of $174.55. Have a second, Andrea seconds, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Any other business while we're in Board of Assessors? Is it good? All right, who wants to adjourn that one?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dan.
Second.
Tom seconds, okay, all those in favor? Okay, so adjourned, and that way we'll move into the regular board meeting for November 5th. We do have minutes of the 15th. Anything there, Tom? Any corrections?
No, it's virtually flawless.
Virtually flawless, that's high praise from
Thank you, Tom.
Tom, so I'm gonna let you take off with that motion, how's that sound? I'll let you have
Okay,
it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th.
Thank you, Tom. I'll second. Yeah. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Okay, here we go. Financials, payroll warrant number 18. In order, anybody have any questions, concerns?
Nope.
Good. All right, I'll move payroll warrant number 18.
Second.
Second, Tom, good second, okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, we're good there. Oh, I should mention before we get started, Daryl Day is not here this evening. We noticed him not down on the end. I forgot we're missing a board member. Oh, he's away, he'll be back. And then it leaves us with accounts payable 19. It's another big one here with the school in there again. So, yeah. All right, who wants that one? I'll take it. Accounts payable number 18, I'll move it. 19, thank you. That's right, Dan.
I'll second that.
Dan's gonna second. All right, thank you, Dan. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
It's good.
Okay, all right, folks. Cool, let's move right down. So we do have some full items on the agenda for citizen comments. We do have an addition on the regular agenda. I believe Jed White's is here from the Pumpkin Fest and Regatta. If that'd be all right, folks, I'd like to add him to that agenda so we can go right through, and if there's any additions after that, we'll go through, so. Okay, yeah, I can call, we'll go through the regular ones and I can call you guys, we'll open it up for any questions, I think, so you got it. So first, we do have a special guest here from Tedford Housing. And Carolyn Eklund joins us from Tedford Housing, and she's gonna give us all a little presentation on what they do, and we invited her to come on over and share some of what they do, so we're interested, and I think are you all set up with slides and everything with?
I'm just gonna hold my breath. It'll be fine.
See what happens, yeah.
Thank you, Andy, so much. Let's see.
We get some technical difficulties once in a while. So.
No, he taught me a new thing today and gave me confidence, so I'm very happy about that.
No, great, yeah.
So these are the slides, and let me just introduce the slide. I'm Carolyn Eklund. I live in Brunswick, and I'm the retired Episcopal priest from St. Paul's, and I'm board chair of Tedford Housing. Have been a board member for 5 years, and this is my second year as president. And one of the things that just hit me the first day I came to Brunswick was how important housing was and how important social services were in Brunswick. And in 87, that's when, a group called Brunswick Area Interfaith Council, lay and clergy, ordained people, got together and said, we've got to start helping with social services. So Tedford Housing was one of those. Oasis Free Clinic was another one, and Mid-Coast Hunger Prevention Program was the third. Later, the day shelter, the gathering place was added. So those are the four main nonprofits to come into very active in Brunswick. And Tedford has so many other ways that we impact communities around us, surrounding area. So this is a presentation, and I would just want to say, Andrew Lardy is our executive director. He wasn't able to come tonight, and we're just so grateful that you invited us and me to come and give this presentation. And you just give me the hook when it's going too long, but I really don't have that many words that I like to. Now I have to figure out how to, oh, here we go. This is a really very important map of our catchment area, and I hope you can see, yeah, it's not so bad. So you can see Tedford. Tedford right now we have 16 adult shelter beds, and 6 little apartments in 2 very, very old homes that have just run their course for the services that we can provide. I'm just now talking just about shelters, and that's emergency shelters. We provide lots more, and I'll get into that. But right now, this is where it stands. And you can see the catchment areas, like, there's Lincoln County. We serve Lincoln County, southern Saginaw, Androscoggin, and northern Cumberland. So we've got 40 towns that we serve. And that
You
we
guys
have
coordinate with the other shelter providers?
One of the things that Andrew has started to do is to do some collaborating with some of the other shelters, and especially in really trying to get the state more involved in support. And so it's more of a kind of a raising awareness together in the State House, lobbying, we'll call it lobbying,
Okay.
for the sake of these. So I love that you're asking questions, so I'm great.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
please do, 'cause
Yeah.
That, I think, let's just continue the conversation. It's really a great conversation. So the next, this is where, I just wanted to show you the areas that we do support people. So stability in housing is key. You may know Kimberly, she's new to the area, but she handles, Lincoln County and, eviction prevention and some of those services, stability, helping people stay in their homes, because that's really the key, is to housing stability. So you can see that these are, can you see the numbers?
Oh, yeah.
And the years. So we've got numbers from last year, 171 people shielded from homelessness, and I'll break it down to towns in Lincoln County in a minute. You can see the emergency shelters, how many adults we've helped and how many family members we've housed. These are housing. And I can say that for the most part, unfortunately, it's a 6-month stay usually. We hope that we can get people moving after 3 months, but because the housing, there's so little housing and so little, preventative support, supportive housing. These are longer stays than we've done.
Wow.
Supportive housing, that's permanent supportive housing. We have apartments for folks that is it's all supported by case managers. So we've got apartments in Brunswick, in Augusta, in Bath, in Lewiston, and Auburn. So we've got 78 people in permanent supportive housing. And then fuel assistance, which doesn't apply to Lincoln County, I'm sorry to say, but we do help people with fuel assistance. Last year, the warming center was our first year to receive a main housing grant for just from scratch. We developed a warming center and had 130 people overnight and 6 families, and really no you know, we don't really know where people are coming from at that point, because they just show up on a cold night and
Sure.
need a place to be sheltered. So here's where Lincoln County, like I said, we offer homeless prevention and outreach and emergency shelters. Not supportive housing, only because we don't have any permanent supportive housing in Lincoln County. And then the warming center, I'll show you some of the figures there. So here's, how can I do this? I gotta get this. So you can see that, Lincoln County, we are doing some supportive activities in Lincoln County. Damariscotta, you can see that rental assistance and just stability of keeping people in their homes is really, really important. And Andy and I were talking about the navigation, the really fabulous. You've had navigation in Lincoln County for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember as a clergy person, we met in Brunswick trying to figure out how do we get a navigator funded, and you were the model for us.
We've been fortunate for some years to
It's been great, yeah.
have that.
So the family shelter, so we're able to follow people and know from, you know, where they've come from and who we're serving. It's not ideal because this is kind of a transient kind of a group. It can be, but these are the numbers that we have. So we can see Damariscotta has, you know, 3 different areas that we know we're serving folks from Damariscotta, and you can see in the rest of the town, in the rest of the towns in Lincoln County. And just did I mention the budget, folks? The Lincoln County budget recommendation for Tedford housing for 2026 was, I think it's 12,600, which is it's not a done deal, but would love to have people's voices supporting that. Because that's gonna help us a lot, because so much of our work is expanding, and we've brought on, you know, we're hiring ahead of our growth and ahead of our new building. And so we're bringing on case managers, because they're the folks that kind of help people stay stabilized, become stabilized and stay stabilized in their worlds. However, the bad news is there are a lot of people that we're not serving, and you know, we're going to be got invitations for you. Our new shelter, expanded shelter, is expanded 60%, but that doesn't cover the need completely, and that's, for me, it's a heartbreak. And because I also volunteer at the Gathering Place, and so I see the people who come in and need the services of the day shelter and just to hang out before they go back out into the woods. It's just people shouldn't have to look like that. So anyway, so these, you can see where the people we've turned away in the family and the adult shelter.
It's not a great percentage, is it? Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great. So we have 16 beds for the adult shelter. In the new facility, we'll have 24 beds. And then the families will have 10 separate apartments for a maximum of 4 people, but we've also can accommodate up to 7, like a family of 7 in those apartments. So that'll expand what we can do for families, and there'll be so much nicer. We have a great playground. Last weekend, we had volunteers building, you know, the playground that we got a grant from T-Mobile, and it was for $50,000 to help us have a playground for the families.
Oh,
It's
nice.
just added to the shelter.
Carolyn, in the last slide, you had the warming center in Newcastle. Is that physically located in Newcastle?
No, these are people who from Newcastle have found their way to the warming center.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know the answer to the question of where are the other warming centers in the area. I think we might be the only one in town. I think there's one in Lewiston, but I don't know where the other warming centers are.
Oh.
And so I was speaking last year to Phippsburg, and they had the same question. People have to find their way to Brunswick for the warming center, but once they do, there's services everywhere, and it's not out like in the sticks. It's right in town, across the street from the grocery store and other services. Okay, so this is just generally again, I can't stand this because it's homeless children, and I, that's horrifying to me that children are homeless. And so you can see the spread of where people end up, in terms of K through 12 children. So there are some that are unsheltered, some that are in shelters, hotels, motels, doubled up. We know of couch surfing. We had in my parish, we had one of our youth group and singers was couch surfing with one of their friends in high school. And we just know, and this may not be capturing all the numbers that really are out there.
And this is just the area that you showed before?
Now, this is Maine, this is
Oh,
Maine.
Maine,
Department of
statewide.
Education,
All right.
statewide, but here it is. You know what, I've got this thing right here that I can't see, that's the headings. Let's find the headings. This is the one, yeah, so this is Lincoln County, K through 12 Lincoln County, so you can see in Lincoln County is the magenta color. It's just, you can see from 2021 to 2025. That's the number from the Maine Department of Education.
Hmm.
Jump there, is it from, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of erratic, but it is a jump. And there is, you probably know that the United Way conduct countrywide town surveys it's called the Alice study, and they look at it's an acronym, let's do it, yeah. It's an acronym for asset limited, income constrained, and employed. These are families who just really they're the vulnerable ones we try to keep out of homelessness, helping them with rent and eviction protection. So I think this is kind of related to the homeless children, that it's a rough, it's a
That's
rough.
how they capture this measure. I was trying to figure out how do you,
Yeah, that's where we get our data. I'm not sure that the
Department of
Maine
Education.
Department of Ed, I'm not sure how they captured these numbers, but in my mind, I correlate it because I think it's related.
From what you say,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is the warming center, and it started last year. We're right in the center of town, right next to resources, next to the permanent supportive shelter, to the food. You can see the food, Miko's Hunger Food. So this year we've,
it's right across from the train
Train
station.
station,
Yeah.
yeah, no, best.
it's in the bus station, all of
Yeah,
that's right
yeah.
there. Near GA, general assistance, because that's right in the town hall, right there by the transportation center. We're gonna be open, this year from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. Last year it was 8 to 8, and there were 5 hours. People in the wintertime come and stay at the adjoining, the gathering place from 8:30 to 3 to stay out of the cold, but then they close at 3. So last year it didn't open till, we didn't have funding, because all of a sudden we were doing this and we had to write a grant and get the funding that we thought we needed, and we realized that wasn't enough to keep it open longer. So this year we're
Yeah,
opening at 4 to then 4 p.m. to 8. And this is this is the new home. This is where, like I said, 10 family units with the staff will be there. Case managers will be there, 24 adult beds. To the left is where, the playground will be with the family apartments. And then if you walk across the parking lot and through the woods, right there is Walmart and transportation. So it's gonna be really convenient to people. This is just a breakout of where we get our funding. I've gotta move all these windows.
You see pretty good.
Yeah, here, too. Too many resources here, so just bear with me. What I totally love is that, we have donors who write checks, donors who pledge. Private donors fund about 35% of our budget every year. And we have another couple of hundred, new donors who contributed to the capital campaign. Very, very well supported. You can see we've got, you've got United Way, we've got state funding, we've got federal funds. And let me just show you the next slide, please. Okay, so this is just an piece of art. Our executive director, loves to do charts, and we were looking at this as the executive committee as to, this was at the beginning of the year, worried about what's our exposure to federal funding if it dries up.
Mm.
And so he did this in this kind of a beautiful. So federal funds, you can see it in the blue, and you can see that there are few for supportive housing, there are few in the shelters. Some of them are through Medicaid, some of them are through HUD. So some of them have health benefits, and some of them have shelter benefits. But we're not completely, there's a significant amount of federal funding that if it disappeared, would have to figure out what to do.
Have you heard if any of it's at risk?
Well, we keep hearing these little things through our networks that HUD is gonna dry up, and you can see on their website how revamped it is, and the language is different but we haven't received any notice that HUD's gonna dry up.
And the checks keep coming so far? Okay.
And we got an appropriation last year of 1.5 million for the new shelter from the federal budget. And because the timing of the building of the new facility was at about the time we got the check, the checks rolling in, we were able to continue to spend that immediately on the building as it was constructed and the things we needed for the building, so that we spent it all. And that was the idea. That and ARPA, the Cumberland County ARPA was about $500,000. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
and we haven't quite spent that because there are more regulations associated for reporting.
Yeah.
And we were able to get some of the funds for 200,000 for this, and this is for the capital campaign from Brunswick and their leftover kind of ARPA funds. And so we were really, really lucky and very, very grateful. But this is, I don't know if you have any questions about this piece of art, but one of our I don't know if you know, Kevin Bunker is one of our board members, and he's a developer and works with Maine Housing for, affordable housing. He goes, "Oh, this looks like the diagram I have of Napoleon's retreat from St. Petersburg."
It's an interesting chart.
We love our meetings. So here we are. This is our, financially our numbers. I want you to know that our budget was about 1.9 million until we realized this new facility and knew we were expanding and knew we needed to be really reaching out to as many groups as we can to sustain this, to grow and sustain this. It's not frivolous at all. It's really hard hiring for case managers, for shelter attendants we had to expand shelter attendants. We had to expand for the warming center. We had to, hire for the warming center and we've done it. And now we're saying, thank you, everyone. We're going to be continuing to need your financial support. And so, for example, I've decided, well, I'm gonna continue to pledge and expand my pledge. So we're asking. I go to churches and I preach at churches, and I get to pass the plate, and that's part of what we're doing.
So when I look at this chart.
Yeah.
Are you trying to raise an additional $1 million this year?
Not this, well, because it won't be a full year, but for next year, yes, that's where it's, and we have it figured out. And now's the time to raise it. And it will have to be from all of our pockets, knowing that probably we're still gonna ask the state, of course. The state knows the importance of this kind of funding. But again, this federal funding uncertainty, we don't know. But we do know that the people write checks for this. People are really motivated. We know what the risks are for others who don't have enough, who are, just on the risk of losing their housing, on the risk of being destabilized by not enough food, not enough housing, and any catastrophe medically can put people, into homelessness. So yes, that's what that is, and that's in 27, up to 3 million in 27. So we've got our work cut out for us now and in 26, and then continuing, and we're finding that we've got like a lot of, even though there's so much uncertainty in the country, in the state, where people are really pulling forward to support the.
Are most are you expecting most of the money to come from the same people, or are you reaching out? How are you marketing?
Yeah, we're certainly developing the 200 folks who've given generously to the capital campaign, who had never given to the capital campaign. We've got, we've just initiated a planned giving program. We've got several different categories of people that we're reaching, and asking for help. And I just say that, here, let me show you this one. The municipalities are increased last year by a percentage point. They're the purple, that's the purple line. And, counties and municipalities we loved it. I mean, you guys know what your budgets are, and you know that they're strapped, and you know that there's not a lot to give, but we're also wanting to raise awareness in the communities, but also with the people who are in the communities. And just from my work in church work, I know there are people who are very passionate about this kind of a justice check that they would write. So we know the donors, individual donors, are very happy to write checks and pledge and increase their pledges when they can. I had our town council chair, I had her over for lunch to chat about this, but also to say thank you to her, because she's retiring at the end of the year. And her question was, well, where are you getting most of your funding? Is it from foundations? No, it's from individual donors. And there are a lot of people who are very, very generous writing checks. So you can see the donations.
So whatever you're doing, keep it up, that chart's going.
Well, that includes the capital campaign. So this is another capital campaign.
It's going in the right direction.
The blue one, the light blue one, is program, meaning that's revenue from the rentals from the apartments, from the stable housing. So grants and, foundations are, kind of, definitely we're working on those. And the municipalities are really engaged. And so here you are inviting me here, and I'm so glad. I'm not asking for money, but I'm thanking you because you're part of Lincoln County, and hopefully, that'll be, the grant that we've applied for, and that that's being recommended. We're hoping that if there's a way to support that with your voices, that'd be great.
Rusty up some donors, maybe.
Yeah, if you know anybody who would be passionate about this. Anyway, so again, I'm very glad to be here. I think I'm almost finished. Here's the question. The budget growth. Who asked about? I think Tommy asked about the budget growth, or I don't know, Daniel, you did. So shelter expansion. So that's why we're growing up about $500,000 just in the new shelter. The 300,000, that's the warming center. Most of that is supported by Maine Housing, who've been, they know what we need, and we hope that they will continue to support statewide these kinds of operations. You see the shelters, we think maybe 18% overall, and then the rest of the operations that we have. I don't know if that makes sense to you, this breakout.
Yeah.
And I think I'm almost finished, right? So this is, again, I think I mentioned the lobbying effort. So our executive director, Andrew Lardy, has last year asked for, a line item to help pay for a lobbyist, so we've got about 4 different agencies, chipping in for the lobbyists for in general, to get to the State House pretty regularly, and that's been paying off. We're hoping, we're hoping HUD doesn't cut, we don't know. But we're working on new business sponsors. We've got a marketing and development team and new plan giving I mentioned and new stewardship practices. And we just keep writing grants and sometimes getting though, sometimes winning
You're
them.
doing the work. Yeah.
And then the local and appealing. I think that's it.
How
So,
large
thank
is,
you.
how large is your operating budget? And how many employees?
Oh, you want, so that, you wanna know the,
Your cost of operations.
yeah, and I hate that I don't have that off the top.
Wasn't there a
Put you
chart up
right on
here,
the
you
spot.
said like 2 million and 3 million? Did you go back? No,
I think that was their
that
overall
one,
budget,
right there,
right? Yeah.
that one. Isn't that your budget, operating budget?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
as a percentage of, like, are you talking about the
No, that's
administrative
fine.
piece?
That's fine.
Which, I mean, I don't know, because like even today, we were interviewing a new employee. We hired just 2 weeks ago, the guy who's gonna run the shelter and the warming center, I mean, and new case managers gearing up because the move is gonna start,
Expanding.
yes, and we're gonna do it in stages in all of December. So we need to be prepared. I do wanna, can I just give you the invite you to?
Oh, absolutely.
The
Yeah.
ribbon cutting?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions, any follow-ups? Or?
Thank you for
No,
that.
this was very interesting stuff, thank you.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you for inviting, I love talking. to you.
Yeah. We appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah, when it's sort of, expanding like a county, like. Yeah. And this is the new facility, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Email
that's
that,
the stuff that we're preparing.
20th.
All right, I think I need to take, let's see, did I take myself off
You're
the
good.
screen share, did you?
It's already done.
Did Andy do it already?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
You did
Am
it.
I off?
just a push of a button.
No, she did it.
Oh.
I did.
Yeah.
All right,
Good.
thank you.
Carol, thank you.
you.
Thanks for coming
Good luck.
and, yeah, and we, appreciate updates. I know you guys have updated yourself a little bit on the information and well, yeah.
Thank you.
Keep some updates with us, so.
Yeah, don't hesitate to be in touch.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right. Who's following up with that? All right, I think we have, somebody from Festival of Lights maybe hiding in the back.
How many hats do you
No
have
hiding.
tonight?
Yeah.
Drill. I'm only wearing one set. State your name.
My name is John Roberts. I'm a resident of Damariscotta. I'm here on behalf of Villages of Light to talk about our hopeful plans for another festival this year. So this is our 9th year of trying to bring a little bit of festivities to the downtown areas of Damariscotta, Newcastle. So we're planning on pretty much doing the same thing that we did last year, as long as that's okay with the boards. So we usually try to decorate everything the Saturday, Sunday before Thanksgiving, so that would be the 22nd, 23rd, I believe, this year. So we have a reusable garland with lights that will go on the bridge, and we have roughly 75 5-foot tall trees that we'll put around the Twin Village area. And then Saturday, the 29th, which is Small Business Saturday, the Chamber's putting on a movie around 1 o'clock at the theater with Santa visiting at noon. And then the lighted parade, we're hoping to do at 4:30 again.
9th year, yeah.
That's great.
Been well attended the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah,
Last year was a good one, John.
we're shying away from the big trees, but I just got word that there's a lobster trap tree in the works for coastal rivers by him and Lumber, so
Sounds like a
I think
challenge.
we're gonna have maybe a 20-foot stack of lobster pots that are gonna be lit up.
Ah,
Yeah, fun. Do you find sponsors for all 75?
I'm not sure how many we have so far. If you're interested, I'm happy to.
Okay.
Yeah. We got kind of a
Sounded
late,
like it.
we got kind of a late start this year. It's a very small group, um. And one of the founding members, Di Seiler, passed away this year, so
Yeah.
we're dedicating the parade in her name.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So she's got some her and Ted's grandchildren are gonna come up and they're gonna lead the parade with the banner,
Oh,
so.
wonderful, yeah,
Yeah, so.
yeah. Yeah, that's been a great, it's good timing too, getting into winter and, yeah, one more festive thing before everything kind of buttons up.
Yeah, we're probably gonna try a different base for the trees this year, because the concrete blocks are getting older, kind of falling apart and, without snow and ice, the last couple of years, they tend to blow over a lot more than the pallets, but the pallets were too big.
It's a fun
It's gonna
challenge.
be a try, it's gonna be a trial this year.
Yeah. It's a fun challenge to wrangle the trees, so we enjoy that
Keep
downtown.
them up.
Because you pick up a lot of ornaments.
That's all I had, unless anyone had questions or.
No,
Questions
glad
for
you're
the-
doing it.
Hey, Roberts, good.
Thank you for
Yeah.
continuing.
Oh, I think the board's fine with that, continue.
All right. Is there any other hats you need me to wear tonight or?
I don't think so.
Do you wanna just give a quick update
Do
on
what?
the building?
Oh, we do have a building update, don't we?
Yeah, are you able to show what I sent you or not?
Not quickly, no.
I will pass this.
Oh, maybe, no.
Yeah, I think we all remember they were doing some floor work
Yes,
in the firehouse, so.
that's impressive.
So,
The skating rink.
last Monday,
Yeah.
we started, with renovation at the station,
Yeah, look at that. Let's go.
so, I'm so incredibly proud of our guys, because, we all have jobs, and, we got together and had to empty out the complete station, to make this possible, because we can't drive on the floors for the entire time
Yeah.
that, the project's going on, so. We had to empty everything out of the station bays and hide it. We have 3 storage units out there. So we got that done and then, talked to Andy. We didn't feel comfortable leaving the trucks outside at night, so. We've had, the officers bringing trucks home every night except for Saturday and Sunday because we were gonna have freezing weather, so. We managed to find, places in town to put all the water.
Whirl them away.
The water storing trucks. So we had one at Hancock Lumber, we had the ladder in Newcastle's fire station, and we had a couple of Phillips Power Products. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but this week it's been warmer, so
Yeah.
we've been back to that. And that one tomorrow, they're gonna be put back in the barn for
Nice.
overnight.
Great, so it'll be cured.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, looks like it came out
We
well.
talked
Looks like
about
you could
trying to do
play.
a select board meeting over there.
Yeah.
Third Wednesday, we have Fire Chiefs Association there, so maybe.
December.
First, second, December.
Those floors look really nice. You could play shuffleboard.
Yeah.
In the spring or whatever.
Yeah, it was nice, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they ran into a few issues. It was supposed to only take a week, but they've think they've done a good job and it looks good.
Great, make that building last a little longer.
And I think we did the roof was done, they know the roof was done, so.
Gutters are the
we have
only
gutters
thing left.
Scheduled.
Mm.
And we're making progress on the gear cleaning room, is coming together too, so.
See you in December.
Yes.
Thanks for the effort.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah. Awesome. All right, we did have some letters come in for provider agencies.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's just everybody get a chance to
Yeah.
take a peek and.
Yep.
We'll, yeah, we
Nice.
appreciate the acknowledgement and.
Mhm.
All right, and let's, where's our pumpkin guy? Is he hiding back there somewhere? Oh. Oh. You're next, Chad.
I'm next up.
Come on, tell us who you are.
I feel like I was just here.
Yeah. The Pumpkin Fest, never
Good
ends.
place with Damariscotta Pumpkin Fest and Regatta. I'm stopping up by tonight to just answer any questions you guys might have on how the festival went. We have our wrap-up meeting tomorrow night. Anybody that's here would like to attend is welcome. From our point of view, it was a fabulous festival. Obviously, the weather worked for us.
Yeah.
The planning came together. We had a relatively safe, uneventful kind of festival. More people attended. One of the favorite questions is how many? I have no idea. Until we put a style, if somebody paying.
Turnstiles in,
Yeah,
so-
turnstiles at the
Yeah.
end of town, yeah, never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But that was another question, and I've talked to Andy about this, but I thought I'd just bring up just kind of, and this is just very preliminary, I'm just putting it out there. One of the things that the festival has run into is funding. Welcome to everything. If anybody saw the New York Times article on Sunday, they were with us the entire weekend and they chose to focus kind of on the regatta. But they brought into the whole thing about funding. She was really interested in, how is it funded? What's it? And it clearly points out in that article, and I'm willing to share our numbers at any time, once we have them all done, that we're coming up short. The festival has just become much more expensive compared to our sponsorship levels and sponsors within town. We've expanded that and we've got more sponsors this year. Thank you to all the businesses that did sponsor us. But it's still about 70 to 85% covers that. And then the rest is through donations and or, we do have a fund that, from donors from the past that can kind of fill in the gaps. So what I'm gonna explore in the next 3 months until we get to planning time again, is going to be alternative funding sources. And where that comes to the town in particular is because we run up in town, I'm sure you see it in your budgets and things, that the overtime and the town employees that we end up paying because they're doing work essentially for the festival, not for the town at large. That, I don't know the exact numbers from this year yet, but it's usually somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000. So that, if we could figure out some way to fund that. And I'm not asking at this point for taxpayers' money to get into this, but more or less kind of the town's support of us looking to, whether it be state funding
Grant funding or something.
or some kind of grants that we could figure out. I don't know enough about that part of it. I'm just looking to find it, just to kind of let you guys all know what's going on. That we want to try to come up with alternative sources of funding. And whether that's, I don't know what that means, honestly, right now,
Yeah.
but.
Explore the options and.
Yeah.
So if you had some people, then you don't know the numbers, but you think you had more people this time than before. What were the big increases in expenses that you weren't anticipating?
The big increases, it's everything across the board, but the biggest ones are insurance. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is just anything, we work on a lot of in-kind donations and those kind of ebb and flow. And that's been one of the big things where we didn't need big donations of equipment. And now we do, and one of the big things that they're talking about right now, and I've already had numerous emails, is the regatta. They are like, why don't we put up some kind of bleachers so that more people can see, because it's just you're stacking people in on top of each other. Then why don't you put in bleachers? Well, we've explored bleachers. Bleachers are $10,000
Rental, yeah.
to rent them. And then, let me tell you, insurance companies hate bleachers.
Right.
They have a real problem with people falling on bleachers. So that's another thing I've explored. But these expenses, Tom, it's everywhere. Even with Damariscotta. The overtime that you pay and the wages you guys pay, those go up every year. So that goes up every year for us also.
Well, that's what I was getting at. There was not one big element, no.
No, and there's other questions and comments that have been made socially on social media and all that stuff about, well, who's getting paid? Who gets paid? I'm here to tell you, nobody gets paid. I buy my own t-shirt for God's sakes. You know, nobody gets paid at Pumpkin Fest. It's a volunteer run and that's the way we intend to keep it as long as we can. To promote the town and the area and everything else that goes
Yeah.
with it. So that's just, I just wanted to kind of get you guys on the same page, let you know what we're gonna be looking for and what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
No,
I appreciate you being candid with us, because that's
Yeah.
important to know that, with, budget
Yeah.
shortfalls on your end and stuff, yeah.
well, it's,
Yeah.
you're not hearing anything you don't hear from everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I understand
know,
that too.
But, yeah, and in your research, if opportunities arise, I mean, just, we'll keep Andy in the loop, I know you guys work well with the town managers and whatnot, so, yeah. But it looked like it was, yeah, I know it's always anecdotal, what, if it's more or less, or, it
It's just no way to measure it.
yeah,
It felt busy. for
it,
sure.
it felt like it was a lot, yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
I mean, you put on, I mean, the town takes it, it really does, I mean, and everybody works with us, and that's the most
Yeah.
important part, is that everybody works with us, I mean, even right up to the state opened up Route 1. You
yeah,
know, without, I mean, that was a godsend.
yeah, getting
I mean, that's
two-way
a small
traffic through there.
piece.
I'll tell you what, that parade was the longest parade I've ever seen in this town.
Yes,
I got to see the end of it.
yeah,
I parked and walked all the way back from
I've
here.
been in all the
And
parades,
what's the end of it?
that's the longest one I've ever seen.
that one was, yeah,
That's-
Mark Doe is, and he's already got huge plans, he and I already talked, he's like, oh yeah, we're going bigger and better next year.
Yeah.
He's gonna say these parades are getting.
Yeah, it's always, when you make that corner off of Mills Road, you come
Yeah.
from nothing and you make the corner and it's, oh boy, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's-
things out there,
Yeah, yeah.
so,
Oh,
any
that's-
questions you guys have, or ladies, or?
The change in the food court location, that looked
was
like
good.
that worked out.
It did, that worked
Wow.
out very well.
Yeah.
We had the 6 and then 7, we had one other guy come in and kind of at the end, another local.
Yeah.
vendor. That worked out really well.
Yeah,
It
It
really-
seemed like getting,
It
pulling
kind of
people
pulled
over and then
people
over.
back.
Yeah,
And then, of course, having the regatta in the afternoon was awesome,
Yeah.
because those people all had to walk essentially through the food court.
yeah.
Which was even better, because that's good for the vendors, they're all signed back up, they're all like, yeah, we're in.
I'm gonna say, I chatted with a few of them, like, holy moly.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple pulled out the trailers, they're like, we need to go get more food.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it seemed to
But
be.
in the local businesses, honestly, and that was one of my concerns as a former restaurateur in town, was. Am I going to hurt the brick and mortars here in town? That's the last thing we wanna do, is because those are also the folks that are sponsoring us.
Mm.
And the answer to that was, I did not hear a complaint from them about,
I
well,
haven't,
I had empty
Yeah.
seats, or, They were all very.
yeah,
pleased
I
with it.
haven't saw a lot of Rennie's bags. There's a lot of Rennie's bags, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
All
Yeah.
right,
Any questions for,
Good job.
for Jen?
all right, meeting tomorrow night, 4:30 up at the ATEC building in Lincoln. If anybody wants to join us, Andy.
Hoping to.
We'll see you there.
Might need to be dead.
All right, thank you all very
Yeah,
much.
thank you for coming in.
For
Thank
your
you.
time and
Yeah.
support.
Joe. All right, yes, and floor is open. I think we gotta be off the agenda, so does anybody? Yeah, yeah, well, come on up, just. Yeah, your floor is yours there.
Carol Florman, that's some of you know me. And I'm here to express some disappointment with the lack of community inclusion in the chief of police search, and ask that the process be broadened to include the community at large. Now, I want to say I was very gratified to get the notice today that there will be a public forum about the police department assessment. But including the public in one process does not really excuse the lack of inclusion in the very important and taxpayer-funded search for our new chief. And when I received the notice yesterday inviting questions to be submitted to Andy for possible but not definite inclusion in the interview process for finalists, I hope that was just going to be a first step. So I emailed him. And he responded by telling me that the plan is to offer this opportunity for folks to raise important questions. And based on input from colleagues and those assisting with the hiring process, we're not planning to hold a public forum or town hall. Now, I think this approach is wrong. The plan is opaque, does nothing to assess, understand, and account for the concerns, values, and interests of the community, all of which need to be key components of the hiring process. And I think this is particularly important right now because local police departments all over this country are grappling with different issues, including how to respond to and interact with federal law enforcement. And that leads to not just legal issues, but questions of morality and questions of community trust. That means that the leader of our police department needs to understand where the people of Damariscotta are on those issues. And in my opinion, develop departmental policies that align with our values. So inviting residents to submit questions is worthwhile, and it might help shine light on issues that the search committee and the select board might not raise. But it's not a proxy for a discussion of the values and approaches that the community wants to see in their chief. Town hall meetings are one way to achieve that goal, but it appears there's fierce resistance to this idea. Another method is a survey that asks community members to select the qualities that matter most to them in selecting the chief, asking about issues that matter to them most and want to see addressed, as well as questions that they'd like to have included. Surveys are then tabulated, issues scored and weighted, which provides the search committee and the select board a true understanding of what the people of Damariscotta want, and not just what a small circle of insiders think is important. So I'm here tonight to ask that the select board rethink this black box approach that you're taking, and take into account the desires and concerns of community. I can offer a number of resources. A bureau, the Justice Department, it's an old document now, but they have sample surveys. This one's back from 1999. Some of the issues probably are, having computer technology skills, I think you probably can take that off, but I mean, there are very good resources out there. This is the local government selecting a police chief, a handbook for local government. Policing project at NYU Law School has all sorts of resources on community engagement, both during hiring process and afterwards. The Southern Poverty Law Center has great resources on establishing policies against racial profiling, which I think is something that is very important to a lot of people here. So I hope that you will take this under advisement and reconsider how to get more community involvement in this process.
Thank you.
Happy to answer any questions.
Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, but right now we have a citizen board made up of a good cross-section of local, citizens, right?
We do, yeah, business owners, former community partners with the department, workers, residents, taxpayers, and there's.
I was here the night that you suggested the list, a pre-selected list of people for the selection committee, but at no time were members of the public asked if they might like to serve on such a committee, which might have brought in, again, a broader cross-section rather than just people that you know. So, again, I feel like, this is a default to a very small group of people. And, I'm not saying anything against the group of people that are on that committee, because I think there's some really terrific people. But again, I don't think that it necessarily answers some of these other broader questions that, should be thrown out to a larger group. People who maybe don't always engage, but care about things.
Gotcha.
I'd just like to share that at the same time we're doing the search, we're doing the assessment of the department. It's a voluntary assessment that we wanted to do. We want to understand where the community is wanted, what the department does well, are there places we can improve? It's both community driven, but also from the perspective of other police chiefs that give the assessment. They know policies, they know shortcomings of the physical building that we're in, what we need to improve. And so the public forum that'll be held next Thursday as part of that report and process is to inform the incoming chief. What we learned from that is still ahead of the interview process with the committee. So I see it as it's all kind of part of that and helpful still for the group as we go through to review the candidates.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
I will certainly.
that's
listen,
an important part of it.
Send you bunches of questions.
I was gonna ask you when we got to your town manager's report, just to give an update on the search, how many people has anyone dropped out? Last time there were what, 5 or 6 people?
Yeah, I'll just share that there's 6 that have applied.
Yeah.
And we're working through the process now to, the interview, we're trying to set up a date with the committee to do interviews was it the week of the 17th?
Okay,
So still with the goal of trying to get someone in before the end of the year.
yeah. Gotta get that timeline, yeah. Okay, thank you, Gary, appreciate your concerns, thank you. Anybody else before we move on to? All right, we're gonna move on for business here and the town manager report. Who wants to fill this in for you?
I didn't obviously get it into the packet. I did update a few of the things on the back there. I'll just go down through these were more just for helpful for me on administration updates. We do have one, our tax collectors, provided me with, a letter of resignation effective, December 4th, I believe. So we'll be posting that, hoping this week. Just kind of looking at and kind of assessing, do we do it the same as it has? Do I do something different to break it up into a couple part-time positions? I'm looking, gotta talk with them about that and internally to see if there's advantages one way or the other, to the status quo or something different. That's the big one there. We are doing, I have it on the calendar there on the back page, but there's Trio, our municipal software, which does just about everything for us in the office. They've been wanting us to upgrade the web. This has been a 5-year process to get to the web. There was an intermediary step, which we're still on. They're gonna stop supporting that. At some point in the near future, updates won't be happening. A good chunk of the towns that use it still are kind of in there, but plenty have switched over to web now, so we're making that jump. Next Monday, the 10th. We're gonna close early, we're gonna close at 2 so that we can get that new version installed and get trained. So we got a 2 or 3 hour training. And it gives us some time at the end of the day to be able to get into it and work in how we would, just to learn. It's like a sandbox version of what'll go in place. And then we're supposed to go live with it early December. We wanted to have 2 or 3 weeks. Wednesday mornings are helpful for us where we're here, but the public's not coming in yet. And so the hope is that over those next couple of Wednesdays, we'll be able to carve out an hour, half hour to get in there and just see how it's different. It's not huge, but Newcastle and Waldoboro have made the switch. They were about 8 months, 12 months apart. And so one was a little bit more recent. And so we'll be able to kind of learn early on. There's a lot of hesitation just because with new software, there's always problems. So there's a reason you're a beta or a pilot test on that. And so, but that was 3 years ago. There's issues, Leslie, I mean, there's issues with Trio now. I don't say daily, but probably every other day or a couple times a week anyways. It's like, it's software, it's gonna have issues, and let's just embrace the newer version of it.
Yeah.
So we'll be closed for a little bit for that on Monday. Planning and development, no major updates with that. There's a couple of permits that are in for the planning board this coming week that may or may not be of interest. The daycare for the Y is on there. To bring it to the campus, and the pawn shop has a proposal to change what's been going on. That's in the process of being sold. Nothing major, but just.
And that's on Monday.
That's Monday night, yep. Michael has a historic preservation review commission as well Monday night, just before planning board. I don't think there was anything major on there. Daryl, you're not on there anymore, right?
Which one?
Kobe and Gale Station, that one's not, that's good, right?
Oh, I'm good, yeah,
That was the
yeah,
last one
I'm
that
just
they-
turning my head
I
around.
think that was the last month they had proposal.
Yeah, no, we're good on that one, I'm all good, yeah.
Fire station, John gave the update I was gonna share was the floor was nearing completion.
Yeah, that was good.
And trunk or treat, police department went well, chief's in the back, I don't know, oh, he was in the back.
He was not here.
I think that seemed to go pretty well, again this year, that partnership, the Y, Karen Ann organized a good chunk of that. And, you know, we had our folks there, Phil was there, Matt, the officer on duty that night was there as well.
There's so many children up there.
Yeah, it's nice to have that safe place, and I think the majority of them seem to kind of end up on the other end of the Twin Village area, and Glidden Street was closed this year, so.
I've done it a couple of times and I'll tell you, the outfits this year were fantastic. Both the kids and the parents.
Yeah.
I mean, they were amazing. Some of the outfits are
What
amazing.
was the most memorable one?
Oh, God. There's,
What were you wearing, Tom?
well, there were 3 bananas for one thing.
Okay.
There was a couple of, you know, royalty, you know, red robes with crowns and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Man and wife with a little kid with a little outfit and a little
That's
basket or whatever. There were a lot of them. A lot of dinosaurs. I was a dinosaur too.
You were dinosaur?
A lot of, yeah, I was one of the bigger dinosaurs.
Nice.
Yeah.
it seemed like too, like the amount of folks downtown, I mean, yeah, you know, going to Glidden Street, Newcastle, but in
Oh, yeah.
downtown Damariscotta, it really seemed like there was a lot of kids just wandering around. It was actually quite, I had to wait, I sent my girls up to do their thing, just waited for them. And it was actually fun just sitting there watching folks walk back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of,
Seems town
I don't
wide,
know what kind of antifreeze some of the kids were using because, they were very skimpy outfits on a very cold night, I'll tell you.
As usual. Andy, on the dates, we have a budget committee. A joint one coming up, was that something?
Yeah, I had reached out, to the, I guess, current chair still, was thinking the 19th.
Yeah,
We have a regular board meeting, was thinking of having that just before for about an
okay,
hour.
yeah, I thought you said the 19th, I didn't get on there, but
4:30.
Would it work for the board to do a 4:30? Do you want to keep it 5:30 and just?
let's do, yeah, that's fine.
And the 19th?
Yeah,
That's when you're doing. Oh, you do.
yeah, okay.
Is that all right?
It's on the calendar, so. Yeah, we saw works for everybody, 4:30?
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah,
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll reach out to them, including the new members, just to give them that. There's some of the stuff's come in that we usually want to see by now. The insurance for health insurance increases just came in yesterday. So we have that notice, and there's a few other things that have trickled in that I wasn't accounting for. I'm like, oh, okay. So trying to give you just an idea of anything that we know might be coming. As a heads up, any questions on process, share the draft schedule. You know, any information that would be helpful for us to know in ways that you want to see it presented differently, or additional information, would be helpful to know earlier on. Cause it's usually middle of December into, middle of January that departments and staff are working on actually creating the documents for review. So. And next week, the 12th, we have a workshop for the strategic plan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great, Public Works, the
What
pump,
happened?
what's that?
Where are we on Public Works?
With the two town,
Mhm.
Kevin and I need to, we're gonna meet before we went on the conference and we didn't. But we're gonna meet this Friday, to go
Yeah,
pick that up again.
Okay.
It's been a little busy, since we last had the presentation, so. Pumpkin Fest.
That's some priority changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was that, and then was away at the conference and just everything else that's come up. So we just need a chance to get back in, to our spreadsheets, refine. The presentation on the budget piece, get a little bit clearer on that. Review some of the, go back and review some of the comments now, that came up, but get back into that. The barge, pump out barge came out last week, this week. That's been taken care of for the winter. We did have to replace the motor on the billy goat, which we used to pull up leaves
Oh, really?
from culverts and catch basins areas. So they'll be able to get out and do that as things dry out again. And the floats we're scheduling tentatively to do that, depending on the tide, around December 1st. We try and get through November if we can, try and leave them out as long as we can for the folks that still work on the water. We do have to bring those out before snow starts getting moved. All the snow, as you know, has to mostly go off the ramp there, and we don't want anything damaged.
Yeah.
We'll do it as long as we can, but if we can get it to December, we will.
Any questions, folks?
The chargers are set to be installed tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll be talking about the draft policy and use tonight. We'll plan on just keeping covered until we're able to approve that
Yeah.
policy, so folks know
It looked like one of the bollards wasn't up.
it's possible.
There were,
I only saw 3 balls.
yeah, you know, three, you know, 6
Mhm.
chargers, but you know.
Yeah, there'll be 4
Three
bases,
could
there'll
be
be 4. There's 4 bases, but yeah, I noticed that one hadn't
Yeah.
gone up yet,
Yeah.
but they will install them tomorrow.
Cool.
It's coming for the short compact cars, they put that,
Right.
that room.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. They're all little cars.
You just park on it and
Yeah, yeah. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Inductive charging, that's something, your phone.
Yeah.
Hey,
Give us
new
some time.
invention, there we go.
Yeah.
Start a new business.
Any other questions on activity?
A
or-
lot going on with grants and capital projects.
Yes.
Yes, there's a lot happening. All right,
Okay.
yeah, thank you, Andy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you here for River House? No, okay, I wasn't sure, I just saw we had liquor license renewal, I'll make sure, I usually try to move those up in the, if somebody's waiting for them, and I went, oh, shoot. Oh. All right, yeah, well, right now, we have one action item on here, so we do have a liquor license renewal for the River House. Looks like everything is in order. Anything,
It's impressive that there were no police calls there at all.
I know.
That's the first.
Yeah. Yeah, usually there's something in this, but nothing, not an emergency or anything, so, good, awesome. I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license renewal for the River House.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion? Those in favor? Okay, yeah, awesome, all right. And yeah, let's move right in. We've got some folks in this office have done some work, putting some documents together here, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a draft use policy for the EV chargers. Now, did Emerson and yourself, right? Did Emerson?
Emerson primarily
Yeah.
had worked on this. She was gonna join today, come back from the NECAPA conference that she was at. That's the Northeast Regional Northeast
Mhm.
Planning Group. She wasn't feeling 100% and
Okay.
told her to focus on her. If she wanted to join, she could do virtual, but
Yeah,
she
that's
was
fine, yeah,
likely gonna do that. So she had drafted this based on some initial input,
yeah,
pulled from a few other places, try to get some best practice. So the idea was that we would update the traffic and parking ordinance, which the select board has the ability by statute to update.
right,
And help streamline that a little bit, but what we were trying to do is put most of it into the policy.
yeah.
And so that if we needed to be nimble or quicker with some of that,
Reference the policy
you know,
of
the
Yeah.
parking ordinance would identify the spaces and that the reference to a policy in terms of use. And so within this, there were a couple of key places where input was desired, in particular, and open to feedback on any other aspect
Thank you.
of it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
You see there on page 27.
Yes,
The accessibility standards in particular,
Yes.
we need to have a minimum number of
Mhm.
handicap spots in the parking lot. In the spot there. Can count towards our total, we need one. Specifically in the EVs area for the number of chargers we're putting in.
right,
Um,
yeah,
So I don't think it's in,
One there anyway.
there is one there, but it was kind of a general use handicap spot, so there's one there now, so the question is. You know, where would the board lean? Do you wanna keep that open as
For
more of a
EV
general
only,
and we
or-
just sign it so that it's. Like a last resort space for a non-EV handicap user? Do you want to? Just, eliminate a general handicap spot and
No.
have it be handicap EV only? Do we add a handicap spot next spring when we do painting? Somewhere else in the parking lot, to restore a more general handicap use?
I think the last resort kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So handicap folks use the other handicap spots if they're
Yes.
open, and if they're not, then, and if that happens to be open, then use that one.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
occupied, and
I
they're in a
agree
spot.
Because there are people that drive EVs that
Right.
are, that have
Absolutely.
handicap,
Yes, and if
Stick-
it's used by someone that's not using it.
yeah.
Right, so just having that in there in the policy would be helpful in terms of enforcement.
Right,
The other thing it does is if it's used. not knowing how frequently it might be used. It's a pretty popular location, given its proximity to the bathroom. And in a couple of places right there. So I haven't factored that into the use model and revenue projections.
Right,
We wouldn't necessarily know until we get some time
Mhm.
into it to see.
right.
It would likely be next summer when we would likely notice the change.
Right, yeah.
And that's where we could come back and change the signage so that it was a last resort for EV users if they weren't handicapped to use.
I get
But
you,
restore
yeah.
a space somewhere else in the parking lot to
Yeah.
bring back that full count that we had for general handicap use.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, well, maybe we should just give it a trial run and see what happens,
Mhm.
cause we can change it.
Right.
So when you say last resort, I mean, it sounds like you're using it in two different ways.
So there's two different ways it could be used.
Yeah.
I
Last
think,
resort for charges.
Well, the last resort for chargers, in other words, if the other 7 are full and somebody
Right.
needs to charge, they can
Right.
use that spot.
Yeah,
And it's also a last resort for a handicap user who, if the other handicap spots in the parking lot are full, they can use that spot as well.
Yeah, I
It might be
would-
hard.
If it's open.
would recommend
But-
probably one or the other potentially,
I
but
was gonna say, there's a,
it
there's a
sounds,
huge
it
conflict
sounds
there.
like
Yeah.
the use of the fourth is a shared use. Depending on its availability for either handicap or VP, that's what I would say. In
Yeah, I
other
think
words,
you're gonna have
if
a,
it's open and there's a handicap person, they can use it. If it's open and the EV person needs to go there, they use it, and they stay there until they're done. So it's shared. between
Right, yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes sense, but does that?
the only
make sense
hiccup
to you?
would be.
oh, no, it can, it's just, we're just gonna get the right signage.
Yeah.
For both of them, basically. There's
Yeah.
one already kind of available for the last, if you're an EV user. It's the last resort for an EV user to plug in,
That makes sense.
meaning that there's 8 spots there, if all the other 7 are open, you're supposed to use one of the other
Correct.
7.
Yeah.
If you're not a handicapped user.
I have to
Would that
abstain
hit-
because I use that regularly as a handicapped person. Phone and other local
The only thing
establishments.
I see a conflict for looking at like two, last resorts at the same time,
I
right?
do
I mean, I would be more inclined to say we'll keep it as a handicap only and last resort for handicap, as you've got 7 chargers.
Mhm.
Going, and we're looking at maybe a 60%, I mean, it depends, if we're gonna have all 8 at the same time.
Right.
Great, if we do, but, the only, if the chargers are full and the handicap spots are full, and then you have, somebody needs to park in a handicap spot and somebody's parked there in the charger, well, how do you enforce
Right.
that at that point where,
Well,
yeah.
The bottom line is you're not gonna be able to enforce it regardless.
It's keeping people honest, but I would be inclined to leave it as a handicap, last resort handicap spot, yeah.
Do we already have the bare number minimum of handicap designated spots for the number of spots that are there? Okay,
And I think that we could look at it and see, as long as we can share one of the access spaces, we might be able to just put a handicap parking on the other side of one of those.
I think it's a little tricky
Um,
because
And not have to have another space taken up or part of another space taken up for access only.
yeah,
So I can look into that and see if we can put it on the end of
Yeah.
where the guardrail is, or maybe down the other end near Metcalf.
Mhm.
And take the access that's painted and make that a spot, access the one that's there as a spot, and then just put a handicap spot on the other side of that.
and then we'd be okay under the
Yeah.
rules. Yeah.
you need to check some of the handicap spots. I believe some of them say, they say handicap is, they got the markings, but then it says only for this building.
That's the Rennie's one.
Ready, says
Yeah,
one
well,
for,
It's the
the
only
art
one
store
that
and.
should be.
No, the art store too, I think, says that,
Okay. I'm just putting one.
yeah,
is there one there?
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I drive by those and then I park.
Yeah, cause I think ordinance wise, they can have a spot, right, with yeah, private spot for a business, right?
Mhm.
For handicap spot, okay. What else is jumping out in the, uh,
I think that was
In the policy.
most of it. Emerson had flagged on the last page there, 28.9, the bottom, and the 29, where the ordinance would need to be updated.
Yeah.
And so,
Have you guys thought through what these are gonna be?
Yes.
If we ever enforce them, so,
oh, parking enforcement fees.
yeah,
It's in the ordinance currently, for parking violations.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
$75.
No, I was thinking for like if somebody like stays over or somebody who's not a EV parks in an
Oh,
EV spot,
gotcha.
that kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess, would you have a different fee if someone's parked illegally, whether they're
Maybe
not
not,
supposed to be parked?
Yeah.
Right,
at
we're
all?
losing revenue, sure.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd create a separate fee. If someone is parked in the EV spot and isn't an EV user, I don't know why, would you wanna create another
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
charge, a different rate than what we currently have set for a parking violation in the ordinance?
Yeah, 'cause if you like
as I
parking in
said,
a voter's
we're
parking.
paying costs for those spots,
It's an opportunity cost to the town
right?
in addition to.
Right, I think the $75 probably covers it,
Okay.
if we're enforcing it.
Do I hear $100?
I don't have great data, I don't have any data right now to show like what
Yeah.
we've issued for parking tickets in the last. Any time frame.
Yeah.
I don't know that there were many.
But
this
so
year.
it's also $75 fine.
Yeah,
so
with
that's
nobody
pretty-
going
pretty
policing,
steep.
it's.
Right.
If no one's
Yeah.
policing it, then we're not getting any money.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's right.
I think it's in the ordinance right now at $75.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I think,
Okay, yeah.
handicap parking, if you're parked in a handicap spot without the proper.
Yeah, that goes.
Placards, I'm pretty sure that's like a $250.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's up there. Yeah, it should be.
as it should be.
Right.
Okay,
So yeah, so on the fees, page 30, I don't know if you wanna jump, so this kind of accompanies the policy.
I could read this on my computer, but I'm not gonna try to.
Yeah,
I made it bigger.
Oh, yeah, yeah, my eyes now work, and I can read this, yeah.
so Emerson
I
had
get the
approached,
gist of it, yeah.
it was much nicer in color, than the
Oh,
black
yeah, it was
and white version.
wonderful, yeah.
Emerson tried to approach this from, and acknowledging that we're a seasonal. And we have a
Yeah.
strong year round, but there's also still a seasonality to it. And I said, I don't know how to estimate the usage rate on that seasonal or even on like a steady year round rate. And so what she had assumed was during the peak season, there'd be 152 days of peak season. And we assumed a 60% during a 12-hour period, the daytime period, 12 hours, 60% use rate. And these are based on 3-hour charge sessions. She's got up in that top left boxes up there. What our base assumptions are is that each charge port is providing a 7.68 kilowatt. It's a 3-hour charge period, which gets you to the 23.04 kilowatt hours used per period. Assuming that there are. So the high estimate being kilowatt hours spent per charger per day is 92 kilowatt hours. So that's assuming there's 4 charge cycles in that 12-hour period per port. 3 hours each.
yeah,
That's just the high estimate. That's.
Yeah.
it's-
The
Okay.
heights, so-
In a 12-hour period, that's the most kilowatt hours that would be consumed based on the assumption that only 7.68 kilowatts would be used. And again, that's an assumed average.
Okay.
Mm,
Not every car is gonna draw exactly the same.
I
No,
don't know, but I like these numbers anyway.
The low estimate would be for, she figured would be, the kilowatt hour spent 23.04, which is only assuming 1 charge, per port per day.
okay,
So these are our benchmarks and the foundation for the rest of the numbers here. You can see the high estimate, during the busy season, again, 4 ports in use, 8 plugs, 152 days, per day, we'd be looking at 368 kilowatt hours on the low end, 92.16 kilowatt hours per day. You can see there, what that looks like as a cost per day. The off season, 211 days, on the high end, looking at 3 ports in use, again, she factored in less usage during that time, both on a high and low end. And that got her to the total estimated usage in the bottom left set of boxes there, both in the high estimate and low estimate. Try to put understand what would the model look like with revenue generation. And so that's where she started in the kind of that second column of boxes there at the top, and trying to assume these universal rules, 4 cars per day, 8 ports, the high end of 32 charge session or cars, charge sessions per day. And then period of 3 hours. Busy season, a 60% occupancy rate, 19.2 cars per day instead of 32. And then in the off season, a 40% rate, looking at just under 13 cars per day. You can see there's a range, the next set of boxes below that, it says total 129,000 possible kilowatt hours over the course of all seasons. So you can see your target rate with those assumptions for to be able to recoup our costs in 1 year. That's the capital outlay we have is about 15 grand for this. So we're covering those costs in 1 year. The range at which we would need to charge at a minimum with those assumptions and the high and low estimate.
Did she go out and, maybe it doesn't matter what survey, what other folks are charging for,
I don't know that we did a full like survey of them. I mean, you gotta find them. I know Bath, Boothbay, Rockland. I'm assuming Brunswick's probably got some, but I don't think we really did that. We, asked what is kind of the standard rate. I know Bath, we had gotten some feedback on. They actually set a rate and then they have some free and some charged.
yeah,
And I know it set a rate on one of the sets and some quick feedback came from the community and the users and they quickly decreased it. I just stay pretty firm on what is our intended goal of this model. What we've built down below in that bigger box, there's a 18-year outlook. The assumption being that I made was these have a service life. At some point, they need to be replaced.
is that what year 11's all about?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, and
we'll
so
be off the.
can we
board then.
generate enough revenue with these assumptions
Yeah,
to,
for sure.
at this, and it's a fixed fee. I mean, it's a 35 cent per kilowatt hour fee over that time frame. We didn't bother trying to change it from 1 year to the next. So it's with that assumption as well, a flat 35 cents over that same time frame. With those
Well,
assumptions.
because we're gonna do cost plus,
Right.
basically, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so really it's just the plus.
Right.
The-
And our price changes slightly every month, and so we assumed a 17 cent cost to us per kilowatt hour.
yeah,
There
then
are
if that
some-
goes to 25, then it'll be
We
25
need
plus
to-
whatever,
right.
whatever.
And that's where we're trying to set the policy up in a way, the ordinance in a way that refers to the policy that then gives. The policy gives us guidance, whether the board wants to change the policy every time we do that, whether the policy directs the administration, me to make the necessary changes in the program.
Mhm.
It'll be a month behind by the time we get the bill to know what the rates were for that month, but we can make the change the
Right, you
following
can, you
month.
can make that.
Yeah,
If we wanted to
and,
do
and my
it.
guess is it'll be a little bit of, learning as we go along and we'll have to adjust it.
And some folks might say, it's not worth it for me to do it for the price Damariscotta set, and so we will need to keep it on.
Or it may be a bargain.
Or it might be.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's gonna be kind of a market
Yeah.
driven, you
Right.
can play with it a
Yeah.
little bit and see.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
And just because it's on the revenue side, the chargers are there 24 hours a day.
Yep.
And I was thinking about maximizing revenue. And so I don't know why we wouldn't allow people to charge after the.
We're not allowing it. We're just not factoring it into our model right
It's
now.
only modeling it for 12 hours.
And I would also suggest
Yeah.
that there are people that come to town, because in 3 hours, some of the big cars, 3 hours is not gonna. If you're like really low,
Right.
you're not gonna
Mhm.
be able to get a full charge or anywhere close to it for some of the bigger ones.
Mhm.
Some of the smaller ones, absolutely, but
Mhm.
is that if people wanna be there after 8 o'clock and charge overnight, there's gonna be people who are gonna be staying in town. There's lots of Airbnbs and
Mm.
different places that people stay.
Yeah.
I don't know why we wouldn't do that.
Mhm.
And is there a way to control the ballers or the machines to say that, from 8 to 8, it's 3 hours, and then after 8 o'clock, you're good until like 8 o'clock the next morning. And you can.
Or maybe it's just a different rate.
Could be a different rate, but you don't limit it to 3 hours of charging at
Right.
that point.
Yeah, I haven't been able, so I started to set up our account in ChargePoint. I'm told that there's a lot of,
You can tinker that way.
there's a lot of,
That's a good idea.
opportunity to really cater to what we want. So I haven't seen what that looks like to try and set the different
Okay.
parameters. We got so far as it kind of wanted to set up a prepayment thing so that as there's fees that get generated, they want instant payment basically from us. And so I asked Cheryl to give me some feedback how best to set that up. And we're thinking of just putting it on the credit card.
Yeah,
And
Gotcha.
then
Yeah.
instead of having direct access to our account.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that would be the safest way to kind of buffer that. But so I haven't gone back in, since that input to look at the system.
Yeah, cause I think just being an EV owner myself, there's different. If you're just coming to town and you just wanna top off, that's the 3 hour thing is great.
Yeah.
But if it's a destination, you're gonna be staying here,
Mhm.
you really wanna.
Right.
Fully charge your car.
Yep.
We could
And-
add
and that
this
would be-
station when he's not using it.
Sure, you can add mine to that, when I'm not using
Yeah,
it. Sure.
I mean, so yeah, in the sense of like,
I think it's good consideration.
estimating revenue, I always attempt to go conservative.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
These are a lot of assumptions built into this.
Oh,
You can
there's
see
huge-
there,
Yeah,
on the 100% in a 12-hour day at 100% use, 365 days a year, you can see what the upper revenue
but
model
that's just
could
for
be.
those 12 hours though.
That's just looking at 12-hour period.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'm not assuming that there won't be some usage at night, overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's residents down there that have an EV and their landlords don't
great.
provide a charger.
Do something after 8 o'clock
What that
on.
looks like, and so we didn't even
Yeah.
try to estimate that in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
We figured the daytime 12-hour period is most safe to
Yeah.
estimate.
Yeah.
We're not gonna lose money.
Yeah.
I think that, hopefully
But you
that's the,
don't, but I was fearing you're just gonna turn them off.
no.
It's still gonna be.
Right, yeah, no, they're on all the time, exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
with these revenue numbers, we can afford
but-
popcorn at the board meetings.
yeah,
But basing on a 50%, 50% of the day, but.
But year 11,
Yeah.
that's basically twice as much as we paid for, or we didn't pay for them, we got grants, but.
year 11 is 218. Right now, the cost to install these is like 160 or 70.
Okay,
And so I assumed a 2.5% year over year
Factored
increase.
in.
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's so hard to know with the technology, who knows that
Can I
level
predict
2 is
something?
even that we're gonna use next time.
And
Yeah.
at some point in time, there's gonna be demand for fast charger. in
Exactly.
town.
Yeah.
And so
This
I'm
number
gonna
is not even close to what we need.
No, and.
Yeah,
No,
well,
and my guess is you
right
get
now.
some big grant from, and
Right.
hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
people will think
Mhm,
EVs are a good thing in
Right.
10 years nationally
mhm.
at the federal level. And that might be a thing you can get a grant for.
Right.
And, cause you wanna have fast chargers in different locations. So,
Yeah. I assumed each year that there would be the electricity costs as part of the operating expense plus $1,000 a year for maintenance. In
Yeah.
year 5, there was a bigger jump, each 5-year period. I think we're a 5-year period for our networking fees.
Okay.
So every 5 years, we would pick up about a $6,000 or $8,000 cost for the networking fees all at once.
Yeah.
And then I adjusted the formulas for the years following, not to assume that 8,000 sticks big put in there again, so.
Right.
There's some bigger jumps every 5 years, so. I think again, the takeaway from this is I think it seems with our conservative estimates of use, and hopefully that. You all would
Yeah.
feel some comfort in that there is some revenue potential here.
A lot.
Um, And it's about us
Oh,
marketing it.
absolutely,
We just need to market it essentially, and we need to be able to keep a pulse on the use. Are there more advantageous? I think there's a lot of things in the energy supply side that are a little uncertain right now in terms of where it's going. I think we're probably gonna likely to see more peak and off-peak driven pricing. So we're locked in with a Constellation, there's a company that kind of locks in our electricity cost. They sell it to us and we agree to buy it at, I think it's like 11.3 cents or something like that for a 3-year period. That comes up for reconsideration, I think, next November, if I remember right. It's a 3-year lock that we did. What's happening in these next few months with the CMP proposal, I don't know how that might impact us. I asked them at our Midcoast managers meeting.
Yeah.
And they said, I don't have that. I don't know the rates.
Yeah.
Everything they're showing online or in the public right now is for the average homeowner.
Yeah.
We're not an average homeowner. We're a mid-use service, a mid-use client.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that looks like across all of so how that relates to charges. So if we find that ends up being, then it makes more sense at nighttime to incentivize people to charge more at night.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah,
cost to do so is a little bit less to encourage the night use
Yeah.
versus the daytime. So I think there's so much that's a little unknown right now.
It's gonna
No,
be
that
good
makes
to
sense.
read the article in the LCN next week about the efforts of the town to generate revenue to offset the tax increases. It's really gonna, I'm looking forward to
I'm
that.
writing your headline for you, Alan. Yeah. It's your byline. Red but new, that's so.
Good word.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
In the ordinance Page 35, I just highlight some of the quick underlined where the changes were for the, I didn't strike anything, there's other things in the traffic. And
Andrew's gonna take off for yeah, I mean, she's in, this excused absence.
There's a lot of things in the traffic and parking ordinance that need to be addressed and updated.
Yeah,
I didn't try and tackle that right now.
Okay.
So there's no strikes in this. It's everything that's underlined is added.
Okay.
yeah, with the EV, yeah.
And so you see 1.21 on page 35, just defining what electric vehicle is. I believe we just took that from,
So this is
Policy.
existing,
this is existing ordinance.
this is heavy duty.
So when was the last time this was updated? And I'm sure it's there.
2015,
Let me see that.
Wow,
yeah,
I'll be
2015.
honest, I haven't read through the whole thing, but
Okay, that's-
it's pretty detailed.
Clunky, it needs to be updated and overhauled. Page 38, we inserted, EV charging stations as a location for parking. Saying there's 4 stations, 8 charging ports. And then again on page 39, 3.4, identifying that the parking limits would be defined in the policy.
Yeah, I think this is smart to reference of the policy like you've done in the ordinance, you know, because it makes it a lot easier to manipulate, especially we're gonna go through, we just talked about a learning phase here for the next, you know, year anyway, or even a couple of years.
Right.
And this will make it a lot easier to, yeah, reference the policy and change the policy. Yeah, absolutely.
Any questions on the formula, the kind of the forecast that we put together on the policy or the ordinance still?
I mean,
Sounds like
assumption
a
or
guess.
does anyone
Yeah,
else?
sounds like a good
My guess
guess.
at this point is,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do like, yeah,
Yeah.
your idea, Dan, too, with looking at the,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
you know, overnight rates and things like that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to, I do appreciate, yeah, that Andy and Emerson have based this on a very narrowly, you know, 50% usage basically, and then if we can make it work on that and see revenue, then you've got
Yeah.
that wiggle room for
A lot of
a different
money.
overnight rate or something, yeah, and if you get it on off-peak hours.
I had no idea we're gonna generate that much.
Yeah, so it's, the potential's there, so that's good, it's making me happy. Oh,
As long as there's not an error in the rates that we're charging or
Right.
something.
yeah.
There are assumptions, yeah.
I like
There
it.
was, I mean, at one point, that total at 129,000 kilowatt hours, the number wasn't that high, and what it was showing was that we needed to charge $1 something per kilowatt hour, and I was like,
No.
Emerson and I spent like about 2 hours trying to backtrack her formulas to figure out, where is this? Is there something in here? Like, I said, the simple math is you're gonna charge more than it costs us for power. You can't possibly go in the hole.
Yeah.
But that's what,
Yeah,
you know,
you're
so
right,
we
that's
did
your
finally
only-
find it, it was just a
Right.
matter of, hitting that,
Yeah.
kilowatt hour conversion, so it went to the 129,000, I was like, oh, that makes more sense.
Okay.
You mentioned the account, setting it up and support, you've got a support contact, so if we, you know, if you need help. Like,
There will
call-
be, yeah,
call us and say, hey, this is
Yeah.
what I want to do.
right,
How do we
Yeah.
do it?
I think that-
so I haven't initiated that account yet, that's where I started to go down, I went to
Started.
like step 5 and it wanted the banking information, I'm like, ooh.
No. Yeah, don't-
They
Talk to
should,
Chair.
they should be jumping up and down about that overnight thing, because it's more revenue for them. So it should help you. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
So the hope is that the next meeting, based on the feedback you've provided tonight, any other questions that come up, let us know, but at the next meeting, present a second version,
yeah,
hopefully final draft for approval, on both the ordinance and the
yeah,
policy.
yeah, and in
And
between,
then-
if anybody has anything that jumps out, just, yeah, we just make sure Andy's
It'll
aware.
just be about, what, 2 weeks, I guess, without them in use. They just happen to come in about a week or 2 earlier than they expected, so.
Mhm.
So it's fine, we'll just keep them covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should
Did you see anything else in the parking ordinance, that jumped out?
No military vehicles.
No.
I haven't had any feedback on the width of the spots in Topwood for the EV chargers.
Oh.
Cause they are a little bit narrower.
When I walked through there today, just cause they feel a little narrow.
They
A
are,
little tight,
Yeah.
yeah, they are,
Yeah.
they're aiming for 8 feet as opposed to 8.5, which is what we have in the parking
yeah.
lot in most places.
They're small.
And so they're using the width of the lines as they're painted to
They all have
account
these
for the
fancy
full.
backup cameras now too, and.
Oh, yes, they do, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've seen Suburbans and trucks parking in there and I haven't had any feedback to say it's
Yeah, yeah.
working. I haven't seen any accident reports.
I have seen one of those Tesla tanks come around. Have you
That
seen
one-
that? That probably.
that
was
one's gonna be
the-
challenged.
The Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if, I don't know what the width of those are,
I don't know,
actually, but I think a
There
standard
is
parking
one
spot's
around
gonna be
here.
tough.
It's-
No, did you see that, there's a town, like a city that has Cybertrucks for their police cars now?
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
Interesting.
yeah, so.
Oh, wow.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so
Now the Rivian, I'd get a 900 horsepower Rivian. That would be a heck
those are
of a-
nice looking vehicles, aren't they? Those are-
They are, the four motor is
Yeah.
impressive. It's like, they're pushing like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque or something. They go,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
great, okay.
So in terms of the traffic and parking ordinance, should we start reading through it for suggestions for you?
Yeah, if there's things that pop out, I mean, I know it needs to be redone,
All right, so we'll, I guess.
and
wait.
so if there's things that jump out, I mean,
See any anomalies or
I mean,
anything?
yeah, I'm not sure 193 feet is the right number on this.
yeah, it was very specific, I mean. Yeah,
I mean, it's very detailed, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm qualified to.
Yeah,
But
the
living
road
around
measurements and the-
Downtown here, you
Yeah.
could probably.
I mean, I was surprised to see the location, I think it was stop signs in there. Identified, and I would suggest and throw out when we get to that, yeah, stop signs and one-way streets. If we're gonna need to keep that section in there, I'd recommend maybe switching the yield to a stop coming out of the parking lot on Water Street. So there's a yield sign there now, and you almost have to come to a stop and in order
Yeah.
to safely get out of there, because people coming from Cross Street actually have the right of way onto Water, not the folks on Water Street continuing. But people come around that corner from Cross
Yeah.
and zigzag and kind of do their quick turn and they've got the right of way.
Yeah,
The yield, I mean, it just was an interesting one,
yeah,
yeah,
of all the things that were in there. But yeah, I think it's worth reviewing.
yeah, we'll
the whole thing.
take a look at it and, if anything jumps out, any questions, just go through it, but,
Yeah, there are a few. This is a little mistake here.
I'm hoping this will be a winter project for us. I think the winter parking is one I'd like to talk to some of the folks downtown to see if, the idea was floated to have the winter parking be along the guardrail
Mhm.
as opposed to kind of in that middle
right,
section.
yeah,
Just from a cleaning up perspective, it might be, I want to talk to the contractor and then the folks down, so I'm not ready to propose that, but
no, just, yeah, get some
is there a
feedback. on
better
it.
location
Yeah.
for something like winter parking? Again, it's a lot easier to clean up that parking stall and the guardrail if that's where it is,
Yeah,
than trying to get in the middle of that circle area.
it's always a mess, and, yeah, just come down through the guardrail, clean it up, yeah. All right, great. Well, thank Emerson for, you did a lot of work on this, so I
Yeah.
appreciate the easy work there, this is great.
I had just quick two more things under your discussion items before you open it up for yours.
I don't know if we have time to see. Okay.
Go ahead.
Go
Um,
ahead, Andy.
SNAP benefits.
Yeah.
Just kind of waiting and hoping that irons itself out. Right
Yeah.
now, it looks like it's a partial payment. There was, something online that showed, the maximum benefit in a normal month would have been $298 for a household of one. The November 25 maximum for a household of one with the reduced amount coming out would be $149.
Hmm.
And even that's not necessarily guaranteed.
Exactly 1/2.
And so, just kind of keeping a pulse on it.
Yeah,
And didn't know, the Philbrook Fund is set up, in theory, the way it's written up by the board and to help with more long-term. Fixes, more
Mhm.
major, kind of
Yeah.
bigger, I mean, these are monthly benefits that are, every month is needed and are sustaining, so. Was gonna put out the idea that if this is not straightened out, would we be open to, having MCMA facilitate funding the gap potentially?
Well, we're fortunate that we have it,
right.
We do.
That's what it's,
versus other communities.
In September, the payout for the benefits for Damariscotta residents, I think was like $35,000 in September. So if it ends up being 50%, then we'd be at about 17,000 potentially if ever.
Is that 35,000 is the number that comes from the state
Mhm.
for SNAP benefits?
Yeah, that was September somehow.
For just our town?
Yeah,
Really?
Wow,
Wow.
and do some communities,
It was
that's
20
you said that's per month?
it was 29 million, I believe, for the state.
So that's 35,000 a month?
Yeah.
In Damariscotta?
Yeah.
Wow. Would general
Yeah.
assistance be an alternative
Not
for,
likely. If any of them are
Well,
working, they wouldn't be like.
There are a lot of nonprofits that are
Right.
watching this. That are
Yeah, cause it's
gonna
pretty
try to
low,
help
that's
it out.
pretty low
Yeah.
income, right, to qualify for general.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to have a lot of nonprofits and food banks around here, so.
Mhm. Yeah, I think there's a
They're-
lot that are waiting in our.
And they're all soliciting more donations to feed more people.
Yeah.
It'll be a short-term crisis, but hopefully
Mhm.
it doesn't last that long, but I
Right.
mean.
I'm hoping it's just this November one that might be the issue. The state's already said, like, as soon as the money's released from the federal government, they can modify and push it out through the existing system. Some other states have offered the same, but to my knowledge, I hadn't seen, I keep refreshing the search for it and haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
And so the payments for Maine are typically mid-month, I think it's like 13th, 14th and 15th or something. In which the payments hit the accounts. Some places might be earlier in the month, but for Maine, it was kind of in the middle, and so that previous benefit, would have gotten them to folks to mid-month anyways.
Yeah.
And so before the next board meeting, it would be that folks would be hitting the
Yeah.
realization that they don't have
The
this.
best way to,
cause 35, that, how many, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, we had, trying to remember, 140 total recipients, counting all household, count, it's not individual recipients.
So that's
Right,
140 households.
Well, it's 140 total.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It's not the.
Versus the
Okay.
number of applicants being like 60 or something, or 70.
Yeah.
Okay.
the best way to deal with this is to give donations to the food pantries who can buy the food below even what, Hannaford can buy it for, so they.
They take a dollar.
You give them
Yeah.
money as opposed to giving them food, it's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
better, because they can
Yeah.
buy it a lot cheaper than.
Yeah, I don't know what the current rate is in that, but it was something where they take $1 and turn it into $8, something like that.
Yeah,
It's-
they can,
I
yeah,
remember hearing that
because they
years
get it,
ago.
they get it shipped like, I know in one state, I think it's Massachusetts, so there's a central place that buys it all. and
Yeah.
put it in
Well,
crates,
Maine
and
has
they
the Good
distribute
Shepherd
it.
Food Bank, which
Yeah,
is,
they
the-
strip
which
this-
is the,
yeah,
sort of the
that's
mother
right.
food bank for.
Exactly,
for all the
that's
food
right.
pantries.
That's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you've ever been there, it's an
Yeah.
amazing.
I haven't, but it's
It's an amazing facility.
Yeah.
It's great.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so that's the best way to contribute.
But as far as we're concerned locally, yeah, I think we're fortunate to have that fund.
So if we had
Need-
we tapped our
need-
fund, we should send it to them, they can buy the food and distribute it.
Potentially, I don't,
This is, cause some people like it anonymous, cause it goes on a card and then,
right,
then they don't have to go to the food pantry to, and it's,
Mm.
it gets tricky.
well, it's also the, whatever you're contributing to the food pantry isn't specifically for, if the goal was to fund the gap for SNAP recipients.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's gonna serve, and not that it's not a good thing,
Yeah.
but it's not getting directly to the folks who have a funding shortfall.
Yeah.
Through
Well,
that
unless we
program.
direct them to go there, but.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, perhaps if you're open to the next week's meeting, which is just supposed to be a workshop, if there needs to be Philbrook Fund
Quickly,
action,
Yeah,
would you be open? I mean, I'm hoping
Yeah.
by then it's not a problem.
Yeah, let's
that
hope.
we
No,
don't-
we needed something in a quick, yeah.
Yeah.
we can-
Okay.
yeah, no, even if for a month or two, and if it's half of 35, over 2 months, 35,000 out of the Philbrook Fund.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what it's there for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be
Yeah.
supportive of
Yeah,
that.
for
Okay.
for local residents, so.
Great, just give me a pulse on that. The only other thing I had that came in that's kind of caught me off guard was, the DOT shared a. First a much longer, but now a 2-page, operation and maintenance of lighting for bridge and approaches agreement. I reached out to Matt, he wasn't recalling that the town ever previously, had agreed to taking on operation and maintenance of the lighting that would be at the roundabout.
Oh.
There was a flashing light at that intersection, which
Yeah.
probably came about by a request of the town, I'm guessing. There was an agreement signed back in 2001 regarding the flashing light that we took on operational and maintenance for that. I think it was the state that was kind of following up on that previous agreement. Well, if they were maintaining that one, and why wouldn't they maintain what's going in next? And so what's going in, I think, is like 12 streetlights. And I was like, I don't know if this is something you are ready
No.
to take on. And so they presented it, and I just run this by the board, and the board.
And we would be responsible for paying for it as
We
well?
would be,
Maintenance, paying.
Yes.
Replacing.
yes. Replacement would be on the capital, like replacing the poles and the infrastructure would
Just
be on
don't
them.
put it on-
But if a bulb goes out, then it's on us to call.
Tell them it's
technician
been
to come
added to
and
our September 26th agenda item.
Okay.
I think, let's go back with a no.
Okay.
It's the state road, state project. Yeah, it's just to assume that the old agreement with one street light turns into 12 lights and.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a big jump, and I do not recall that being discussed. When they presented here
Mhm.
with the roundabout, the whole thing, that, you know, there could have been something, but I remember them coming in and having the presentation and, you know, and granted, that was just, the engineering folks at that point, but, I don't remember that coming up as conversation, like, by the way. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, anything else you wanna say no to? Good. All right, any other business?
No.
Good,
No, just
okay.
big turnout yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh,
that,
really?
I
It
was,
was,
it's been great to get that many people at a time.
Well, yeah, there were.
Town meeting.
So we could change the
More than
Union
50
74.
more than
I totally forgot
50% Of the adult population voted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Way more.
yeah,
If I had any idea that off-year election would have had that much, we would have put the charter.
We got your chart.
we could in charter.
It passed on the vote count we had, but we didn't have enough, I think, voters to pass it.
Right,
I
it
think it
was
required a
going
minimum
in,
number
it
of.
passed, but we didn't have the percentage
Right.
to make the change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an awful off year, I mean, you only get 300 voters typically
Yeah.
here, I think, and they had over 300 that were absentee before the day even started.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had another, what, 1,000 total?
Yeah,
It was over 1,000.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the numbers are
Almost 700 people walk in.
1,100. Yeah.
We had about 800 kids at the trunk retreat. I mean, it was mobbed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, you were there.
Mhm.
Kept coming and coming.
Great, all right, I guess, we got some stuff to sign, but, we're all good, I can, entertain a motion to adjourn, what's that?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I'll second it.
Second, okay,
Yeah.
and second, so any discussion, all those in favor?
Was
All
gonna
right.
abstain, but I
We are
didn't.
adjourned, let's get some stuff signed here as
I'll
well.
stay here forever.
Kylie, did you get enough? You got
No,
enough?
never enough.
Ally.
Well, we can take another half
Yeah.
hour.